JT Barrett, Pat Elfein, Raekwon McMillian, the three Ohio State Buckeyes who are here representing Urban Meyer's team this year, and great to have them with us on our set. And Raekwon, I'm going to start with you, but I want to ask this question of all three of you guys. You're coming off a season where you went 12-1. You played in a big-time bowl game, and you beat Notre Dame fairly soundly. I think by any measure, most people would say that's a successful season. In your mind, is that a successful season?
I mean, I think I can speak for myself and all my teammates when I say this, that at Ohio State, we're not like most teams in the nation, so when we don't win a national championship, we don't feel like it's the best year. But we did finish off solid, so we're hoping to finish off a little better next season.
Yeah, I mean, at Ohio State, the expectations are win a national championship every year. And if we don't do that, then, you know, we didn't get the job done. But with circumstances that were given to us at the end of the season, I don't think we could have finished out better than we did.
Yeah, going off what my guys said, I think that's part of being at Ohio State. And everybody that's a part of our organization, like, that's just the way it is. And I think we don't want to, I guess, lower those expectations by any means just because, you know, we lost a game, or even now with the talk about we lost a whole bunch of our guys, like it doesn't matter. So I think with that, we did finish off well, and I think we did a great job bouncing back after we lost to Michigan State, and that was a great thing for our seniors to go out with that win.
You did lose a whole bunch of guys, as you alluded to, JT. You had 9 players who had eligibility remaining who chose to leave for the NFL. You had 12 draft picks in total off the Buckeyes roster, 5 of them in the first round. I mean, it is remarkable the amount of talent that departed Columbus. So what would your response be, knowing that, to people who say, hey, they only have 6 starters back, there's a ton of question marks, I think they're going to drop off just a little bit?
Yeah, that's the thing at Ohio State. I think that's something that we are not a rebuilding team. I don't think that, you know, you hear about rebuilding years some places, and I don't think that's Ohio State by any means. And like I was saying earlier, somebody was like, well, do you, I guess, lower your expectations? And I was like, well, that's not fair, because, I mean, you're going to tell Buckeye Nation that, hey, you know, a couple guys left, so we might not, you know, win a Big Ten championship or win a national championship. So that's not fair to Buckeye Nation, 1, and then also 2, not fair to the people that went to Ohio State before us and played with that scarlet and gray. That's not right.
Yeah, I mean, we recruit very well around here, and the expectations of Ohio State have been the same for, I mean, as long as I can remember, and that's to win Big Ten championships and to win national championships, and we got a pretty good track record of doing that. So, I mean, you ask me, you ask these 2 guys next to me, the expectations are the same. It's going to be the same, and it's not going to change.
Yeah, like my 2 guys alluded to, man, it's kind of an ongoing rotation of players leaving out, going to the NFL, going to the next level, going through our whole process at Ohio State, to guys coming in and starting the process all over again. So once those young guys come in, they got to trust the process, and eventually they'll be moving on to the next level, winning championships.
JT, you had such an interesting year personally last year with the 3-way quarterback battle, which became a 2-way quarterback battle. You're not starting, you are starting, you're not starting, you're off the field issue. Ultimately, what did you learn about yourself in that year as a person, as a player?
I think one of the main things was going through that competition battle was focus on what I can control as a player and even as a person. There's certain things that were just out of my control, and I guess at times you don't put as much as your focus on those things, being that at the end of the day you really can't control them. So whatever you do or your actions, they don't, I guess, change whatever happens. And I think that was something, even with the quarterback battle, was like, well, man, Cardell just made a play. Yeah, Cardell just made a play. Great job. You know what I'm saying? And that was the thing. It wasn't like I didn't, I guess, congratulate him on making plays or anything like that, but it was just almost like, man, now I got to make a play. Well, I can't really focus on what Cardell did or what Braxton did, because I didn't have anything to do with that. Like, whatever I did had nothing to do with it. So I guess not hanging my focus on those type of things and just focus on what I can control and be the best player I could be was something that I focused on.
Was it tough on the other guys on the team, that uncertainty of not knowing who your quarterback would be game to game, in some cases down to down?
I mean, it was just kind of weird feeling, knowing that you didn't know who was going to be the starting quarterback on a series basis. If a quarterback made a mistake or threw an interception like that, we were all looking to see if the next guy was going to come in. And it was just kind of weird the whole season. But towards the end of the season, man, we got clicking on all cylinders, so that's what really matters.
What about for you, as someone who was in that huddle?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really like we were nervous or kind of didn't know what was going on, but we did. I mean, I remember jogging out for Virginia Tech. I didn't know who was coming out.
I saw either.
Right before we broke the huddle, JT and Cardell were in there. I was like, all right, who's coming out with us? But both of them are ballers, so, I mean, our scheme's the same. It doesn't matter who's taking the snap. I mean, Cardell's going to ball out, or, you know, JT's going to take it and go do what he does, which we've all seen what he does. So, I mean, either quarterback, both great players. We got great players all over the field, so, you know, when in doubt, people were going to make plays, so, and that's what we do at Ohio State.
Well, no doubts this year. You're the guy. I think the issue now is who are you throwing the ball to? I mean, you lost some really talented players. Michael Thomas, Jalen Marshall, Braxton.
Yep.
Turned into a really good receiver for you. So give us a sense. You work with these guys. I know you spent some time in the summer throwing balls to all of them. Who should we be on the lookout for? Because we know the quality of high school prospects that all of these guys were. Who's going to turn into a great college player?
Yeah, so starting off, I think Noah Brown. He was having a great camp until an accident happened at practice where he broke his leg. And the same thing with Dontre Wilson. He's just making sure that he could maintain healthy. And then Corey Smith, he got hurt against Indiana. Curtis Samuel. Those are I think the top four guys are definitely going to help us out. And it's the simple fact is that those guys, they've shown it in practice a lot of the times, and it's just trying to get it to come out on Saturdays. I think that's something that we're definitely going to focus on, and so they could get that experience that they have in practice, but make sure that they also translate it to the field, too, on Saturday.
Pat, we talked about all the guys who left for the NFL. You were a player who could have done that. What made you decide to stay?
I mean, being at a place like Ohio State, it's tough to leave. There's a lot of good things going on here, and I've talked with some of my former teammates, and we said that, you know, every Saturday we get to do the coolest thing in the world, you know, go out in the horseshoe and play in front of all these fans. And there are still some things personally that I wanted to achieve coming back here to Ohio State, and team-wise, you know, every year our expectation is to go compete for a national championship, and I want to do that again with these guys. So, you know, I'm glad to be a Buckeye again. And
now you're switching positions. I mean, there aren't many All-Americans who switch positions, moving from guard to center. What was the discussion that you had with Coach Meyer and kind of internally with yourself that led you to believe that that was the right move?
I mean, I've always been the backup center, and I've competed for a center position with Jacoby before. So I've always had that kind of in the back of my mind that, you know, I can go in, I can play at both guard and center. And just talking with, you know, Coach Meyer, Coach Warner, and he's decided that, you know, come back and play center. It could be, you know, a good thing for the next level. When that time comes, it could be, you know, a good marketing tool for you. So I like it. You know, center is a good position. I played right guard, I've played left guard, and I've played center. So, you know, got a little experience, and now I'm going to take control at center full time.
Raekwon, let's turn our attention to the defense. And by the way, I think Ohio State fans would want to know whether you were listening to that notion of maybe sticking around for all the good things that are part of the college life. I won't put you on the spot to answer that question now, but you know, just wanted to make sure you were actively listening to the interview. That being said, the defense, Chris Ash is gone.
Yep.
Off to Rutgers, so now you have a new co-defensive coordinator in Greg Schiano, a guy who has incredible experience at all levels of football. What's the unique stamp that he's going to put on this Ohio State defense?
The unique stamp that Coach Schiano brings is he definitely has an NFL caliber degree of coaching, but also he brings enthusiasm in practice every day. I mean, day in and day out, he comes to practice. He gets his guys going, and even though we're not coached by him individually, he brings enthusiasm to the entire defense, and then the defense permeates throughout the whole team and goes through our special teams, and that's what you need out of your coaches that's going to bring enthusiasm to you.
One of the things that I think has to have changed on this defense is, look, you were arguably the best player on the defense last year, certainly among, you know, the top 2 or 3, incredible tackle totals and huge contributions, but you were a younger guy, and so presumably some of these older guys were the leaders. now I think it's pretty clear cut. You not only are the best player on that defense, but you're going to have to be one of the leaders. How do you look at that as a change in your role, and how does your approach and your demeanor change as a result of that?
Individual game doesn't really intrigue me that much because it's kind of a concept that we have on defense, man. Together, everyone achieves more. It stands for team. So if we don't do it as a team, if we don't work together as a cohesive unit, all three, the linebackers, the D-line, the safeties, and the cornerback, if we don't all work together, then our ending product on the field won't be what it's supposed to be, and it won't be up to expectations.
I was asking JT about some of the guys who might step up at wide receiver. Kind of the same question on the defense. Everyone knows how well you guys have recruited.
Yep.
So who are some of these guys defensively that are names that we saw maybe in recruiting rankings that now we're going to see contributing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bunch of guys, other than the marquee names that you've heard on a daily basis, like Sam Hubbard and Gerry Conley, but Dante Booker, Jalen Holmes, I can go down the line, Tracy Sprinkle, Malik Hooker, Michael Hill. I mean, we got a bunch of guys that can make a lot of contributions during the season. They just got to go out there and prove it.
What do you guys say to those who look at what you lost, what Michigan State lost, and say, you know what, this might be Michigan's year? Because there's a lot of that going around.
Let's go play.
Yeah, let's go play a game, man. We can't do too much talking on it. We just go play football.
Yeah, let's go play ball.
All right. So none of that talk bothers you. When you guys see maybe you're picked for second in the league rather than first, do you notice it? I mean, do you pay attention to it?
No, we don't really pay attention to it.
Am I the first to tell you this?
We don't really pay attention to it.
You're not the first person to tell us, but we just don't really pay attention to it. We just go out there and go to work. And I can speak for all of us, man. We just going to worry about that game when it gets here, one at a time.
Does having the Oklahoma game looming toward the beginning of the year, does that impact your preparation in any way, knowing that fairly early on you're going to play a real high-level game?
No, not really. Like Raekwon said, we're taking one game at a time. I don't think you look, I guess, over games, because then I think that's when you stub your toe and, you know, somebody sneaks up and then you lose because you were looking too far ahead, and we don't want to do that because every game at Ohio State is important. Every opponent we're taking seriously. It's not like, you know, like I said, we're looking over anybody. I think our first game against Bowling Green, that's going to be a good team. And like I said, like everybody's talking about, we have a lot of young guys. So with that being said, we have to see what they could do in front of 110,000 people, and it's not a spring game like it was April 16th. It's showtime, and so it's not something that I guess you look forward to with Oklahoma.
Even though that was in front of 100,000 people too, the spring game, right?
That's fair, but it wasn't. Yeah, I guess it.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, it's
it ain't the same.
Different.
No doubt about it. As one of the elder statesmen on this team, and I could ask either one of you guys, kind of what's the message to younger guys? Urban was talking today. Hey, we have 44 guys who are on this roster who have never played in a game. So how do you convey to them that there is a difference between 100,000 people at a spring game in Columbus and 110,000 people at a marquee Big Ten conference game?
I think it's something, understanding, like, I know throughout off-season workouts, it's something that I've been trying, or we all been talking about with our young guys, that this is the work that's going to show up on Saturday. It's not like necessarily work that's done, I guess, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in a practice week. It's really the work in the off-season. So understand, like, you're not going to be able to get these moments back. Like, once today leaves, it's gone forever. And you got to put your stamp on that day. And so with that, I think that's something that really opens their eyes and gets them to understand, like, hey, every workout, it's not, let's try to get through it. It's really like, hey, try to make sure that you get better and that you could walk away knowing that I didn't lose a day.
Yeah, during the summer workouts, some of the, hardest times of the year. And since our team's so inexperienced, we try to simulate, the experiences they're going to see in the game. Since they haven't gone out and actually done it, we try to put them in adverse situations. So we know when a time comes, like we always say at Penn State, which is, a very hostile environment, especially for us, that, they're going to have to respond a certain way. And we're going to try and simulate that, on a Saturday morning, Friday morning workout to see how they do that and train them over and over again. So when they're in that situation, like, all right, you know, I've been here before and I got my guys around me and we're going to go get it done. So that's how you do that when you have a very inexperienced team.
Same thing for you, Raekwon. What do you tell younger guys who haven't been there?
Just like my guy said, man, you just got to put them through the ringer throughout the year, throughout camp, see if they can survive. And for those who can't survive, see if they can thrive. Once you made it to the point where you can survive and you're starting to get a feel for it, can you thrive and become a great player at Ohio State like the ones before us did, like these guys right here are.
All right, been a lot of fun to visit with you guys. Raekwon McMillian, Pat Elfein, J.C. Barrett. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Good luck this year.
Go Buckeyes.